Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Manchester United versus West Bromwich Albion preview, and we're back. We're back with a clear run at it now for months and months. No more international football, no more breaks. I tell you what, the interesting thing is, next international break, will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer be in charge of Manchester United? Because that is the big point now. As we go into these next few games, it's not about West Brom, it's not even about Istanbul or Southampton after that. It's about this next run of games that ultimately will decide Manchester United's season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future, Paul Pogba's future, and every other future that you want to talk about ahead of what is a massive game for Manchester United at the weekend. West Brom, look, we're going to talk about the team, we're going to talk about the next few fixtures, we're going to talk about how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got to be brave, and I think that team is the team that he'll pick against West Brom, but I don't necessarily think it is the right team, and there's a reason for that. But when you look at West Brom, 8 games played this season, 3 points, no wins, they've got 3 draws. They're not scoring goals. They've got 6 goals in 8 games, so they don't score goals. They can't win games, and Manchester United, I think it would be stunningly sackable, probably, if he was to lose to West Brom at the weekend, because it would be our 5th home game of the season that we haven't won. So I don't think that's going to happen, by the way. I'm not being sensationalist there. I'm just saying, if we were to lose this game, there's not a lot of wriggle room for Ole when it comes to what would happen after that. But I fully expect us to win it. I don't think I look at West Brom's big games they've played this season. Chelsea and Spurs, they've gone with a back 5. That means that we're going to be invited on to attack them. They'll look to hit us on the break. So we've got to go on that front foot, and I want to look at the next few fixtures ahead of that and where we're going, because look, we're not quite back yet. Obviously, we're back Saturday night, and then it's relentless. And when you're in those trenches trying to get the result, it can be relentless. So this is a little bit of a calm before the storm, and we can reflect on that. We can look at it tactically, but let's start off with the team on Saturday. And look, I don't know whether people picked up on this yesterday. Not overly happy with this. Swedish coach talking about Victor Lindelof being injured in the Croatia game, but saying he was willing to push it against France. He pushed it as hard as he could, and then he couldn't play anymore, so he had to come off. I mean, I'm like, hold on a minute. Like, I get it. He's Swedish. If he was French playing for Sweden, I'd wonder why he's playing for them, obviously. But no, he's Swedish, so he's got national pride and all that, and he wants to play for his country, but when we've got a game on Saturday, Victor, then Wednesday, then Saturday, maybe not Wednesday, maybe it's Tuesday and Sunday, but you know what I mean? We've got loads and loads of games, and you are nearly on empty, and you're forcing yourself to play more games. And I just I don't think this mentality is a mentality that's Manchester United above anything else. And I'm sorry, look, some people are going to totally disagree with me here, but it's Manchester United over England, it's Manchester United over Sweden, it's Manchester United over France. International football is a novelty as far as I'm concerned. It's nice to watch in the summer when there's a tournament. The international breaks are a waste of time, and I'm sure players get a lot of pride out of playing for their country, but let's be absolutely honest, domestic football, Champions League football is streets ahead of this, and it worries me when players are playing injured for their national team, and then, you know what, Lindelof probably comes back this week and he's a risk. And even if he's not a risk, can he play Saturday, then against Istanbul and not? I mean, look, it could be a blessing in disguise. Lindelof gets injured, you play Twansebi with Maguire, and you start to build out a balanced centre-back pairing. But, injuries-wise, I think we're looking good. Martial had a back problem but was on the bench for France the other night. Rashford, we think, will be back. He is a potential risk. Cavani's played games. Pogba's played games. Telles got over this whole scare about being positive for COVID again. So Luke Shaw's the only player that we've really got out. So I think that the team he will pick against West Brom at the weekend will be that team, which is the same team that he picked against Everton, with Telles coming in at left back. And to be honest with you, it would have been interesting if Luke Shaw had not been injured, because I think that he probably would have started, but I think this is exactly the sort of game that we do need a Telles to play. And the reason is West Brom are going to sit deep. So it's very important that our fullbacks push on and our midfield push on. Must just say as well, I forgot that I'm wearing this. The reason I'm wearing this is because our Christmas jumpers are available. The link is in the video description. But if you want them worldwide, you've got to get your orders in by Friday. So if you want to get them for Christmas, get your orders in by Friday if you're outside of the UK. And this is because of COVID and delivery times and everything like that. So if you definitely want to get it in before Christmas. Get your order in by Friday. Links in the video description. There's this one, there's the 5 Cantonars one, and there's the Goldbridge one if you want that. But let's just have a look at this tactically for a moment. So I've lined the team up there. As you can see, we've got... oh, no, I don't want that doing that. It's always when I'm recording. So we've got the ball here. Now, the Ball's going to spend a lot of time in this half with Manchester United. And it's very important that when that happens, you've got not... Oh, God, it's done it again. It's bloody done it again. I should always check this. So it's very important that people such as... Why is Anthony Martial not moving now? This is a joke. Why are they not moving? This is a bloody joke. I can't do this if it does that. Come on. Don't do this to me. No, they're moving now. So Anthony Martial moves up there. Obviously, Rashford's going to be up here. I think Mata's going to spend a lot of time here. Bruno's going to spend a lot of time here. Now, in the Everton game, we had a big gap between this defensive unit, which was there to protect these two, and the attack. We cannot see that. The ball's going to be around here a lot. So Fred has got to be here. McTominay is going to be here. Tellez has got to be right up here. Wan-Bissaka's got to be right up here. And basically, this is what it's going to be like against West Brom for 90% of the game. We're going to be spending a lot of time in their half. And people like Juan Mata are going to have to come inside a lot. Rashford's going to have to push forward a lot, allowing Tellez forward. Wan-Bissaka's going to have to overlap. And McTominay and Fred are going to have to patrol these areas to feed people like Bruno. And I think that is how much of the game against West Brom will go. And this is how he will line up. And to be honest with you, I didn't think I had a problem with this team. Now, look, if Rashford's not fit and Martial has to play, that's not necessarily a huge problem because you can always bring in Cavani off the bench here and just stick him up front. So that's not a problem. If Rashford can't play, we put Martial on the left and he'll play close to Cavani anyway. So that's dependent on Rashford being injured. My real issue with this is that team will be fine, and I think that team will get a result against West Brom. But my concern about the longevity of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is this. Is that team there going to be the team that gets us into the top 4, that keeps us in the top 4 and makes us have a good season? And it's not. It isn't going to be that, because the reality is that when it comes down to it, people such as Fred and McTominay are not as good as Matic and Pogba. Now, Fred maybe, and McTominay does a good, honest job, but they're not as good. And I just think that we're playing West Brom at home. I know he won't want to drop the players that got the result against Everton, but 2 weeks can gloss over things. And Everton had a chance to make it 2-2 and Doucouré missed the ball. And we went up the other end and we made it 3-1. I felt we deserved to win that game, but let's not get carried away that we were head and shoulders the better team. It was a workman-like performance and we deserved the 3 points, and it was a massive 3 points. But there's no way that team there for me is building into anything special. At some point, it's going to slip up. And the job and challenge of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is to see that's going to happen and evolve that team so that you avoid that defeat. Now, I'm pretty sure against West Brom, he's going to go with that team. But as he moves towards Southampton and West Ham, and we'll talk about the games in a minute, and even Man City, that team won't beat those teams. But we're not going to win the next 4 Premier League games with that team because McTominay and Fred have a weakness, and they have a weakness in relation to their ability compared to a Pogba and a Matic. And he's got to start, and Van der Beek as well. Van der Beek's not starting there. Again, we're starting Mata. I mean, I'm talking about McFred, but actually Mata's one of the big areas that we're carrying somebody in that team. I don't think he played well against Everton, and he seems to be a bit of an Ollie favourite at the moment, but he ain't up to it. I'm sorry, I'm going to be absolutely blunt, because the reason I'm going to be blunt here is because we're talking about our fandom and our club, but we're also talking about Solskjaer's future. If he thinks that team is the team to stick with, he will lose his job. He's going to lose his job sticking that team. He will beat West Brom, I'm sure. He might even beat Southampton, but he won't beat West Brom, Southampton, West Ham and Man City in the league. And he won't beat Leipzig and everyone like that. He can use that team against West Brom, but he's got to look to evolve that team, if it makes sense. He's got to think, right, Mata's going to have to come out. I'm going to have to get Greenwood in or Van der Beek in. And McTominay and Fred, they're doing a great job at the moment, but realistically, I'm going to have to get Pogba in, especially when Pogba is playing for France in that specific role. I mean, you look at where Scott McTominay is, and let's just take him out for a moment, and you put Paul Pogba in. Where are you, Paul? I mean, Paul Pogba is actually playing in that very position for France this week, twice. In that very position. And suddenly that team looks a little bit better, doesn't it? And then, you know what? Let's take out, what's his name? Where's Juan Mata? hiding somewhere so that I don't take him out. There he is. Juan Mata comes out, and you bring in Donny van der Beek, who we move over to there. And I think suddenly that team looks a hell of a lot better. You got Van der Beek, Bruno, Rashford, Fred, Pogba. I think that, apart from we need a centre-back, I think that's a good team. And he's got to start evolving into that. Nothing against Mata, nothing against McTominay. They're still on the bench. But he's got to start evolving into that team as far as I'm concerned, because the West Brom game, you could almost pick that team and it'll win. Whoever he picks on Saturday should win. If he goes for the Everton lineup or if he goes for that lineup there, it's going to win. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will beat West Brom. That's my prediction. I think it's most people's prediction. We'll win that game. But what do we learn from that game? Because this is a small step on a very big ladder that we've got to climb over the coming weeks. And I think there's a danger that if the Mata McTominay team with Fred and everybody wins, the same Everton team, if they beat West Brom, suddenly people start to think this is our best 11. And then it won't be our best 11 because it will get beat. He needs to evolve to his best 11 ASAP if he wants to stay in a job. You can't keep picking Mata and everybody else and keeping Van der Beek and Cavani and Pogba and Matic on the bench. They're some of our best players that we've got. So he's got to evolve it. I'm not saying he's got to evolve it for West Brom, but he's got to have it in his mind that he's got to evolve it. And you know what a big manager does as well? Can I just say this? Loyalty in football is good, but also talent is more important in some ways. Because if he thinks that Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola are going to go after the international break and go, you know what, I'm going to stick with the team that beat Everton, even though I've got better performing players in a better form on the bench. They're not going to do that. Manchester United, obviously loyalty is a very, very big thing, but so is winning. And if his people on the bench are performing better than his first teamers, then he's got to pick them. And the reason I bring this home is because we've got West Ham on Saturday night, of course. Then we're playing Istanbul on Tuesday, so it's quite a quick turnaround. And we'll definitely see a different team against Istanbul to what we're going to see. I think we'll see Pogba against Istanbul. I think we'll see Van der Beek and Matic against Istanbul. And maybe that's the plan, and I'm fine with that. And that's fine. Pick your Everton team against West Brom, it'll win. And then pick bring Pogba and everyone else in against Istanbul. But what if they come into that game and they play well? What are you going to do against Southampton away the next game? You're going to go with the Everton team. And that's where the banana skin starts to happen for me. It's not picking the Everton team against West Brom and winning. It's not bringing the changes against Istanbul. It's going to Southampton with the Everton team and losing. He's got to evolve it, because after Southampton, he's got PSG, massive game. He's then got West Ham away, massive game. Leipzig, massive game. Man City. To me, West Brom and Istanbul are an opportunity, a really good opportunity for United after the international break to get back into rhythm. Nobody expects us to lose to West Brom. It's 3 points. Istanbul at home, revenge. It's a win. But after those two games, it gets bloody hard. Southampton away, PSG at home, West Ham away, Leipzig away, City at home. Those 5 games are the season definers. He can only lose his job by losing to Istanbul and West Brom. If you lose them, you probably shouldn't be in the job. He'll win them both. But I can't give you the guarantees, and I'm sure you can't give me the guarantees, that Southampton away, West Ham away, City at home, sandwiched between Leipzig away and PSG, those 5 games, is he going to win all 5? Does he need to win all 5? Can he go into those games with the Mata, McTominay, Fred and Pogba team with Pogba, Matic, Van der Beek and Cavani and Greenwood on the bench? And I think he's got to evolve it. He's got 2 games. And if I was Solskjaer, I'd pick that team or I'd pick the Everton team. I'm not bothered. And I'd use the other players against Istanbul. He's got 2 games to use his wider squad. But by Southampton next weekend, it can't be the Everton team. He's got to evolve it, because that Everton team is not going to be able to beat the teams that we've got to come, if you know what I mean. Just as a matter of interest, after Man City, we've got Sheffield United, Leeds and Leicester and then Wolves. So look, if he can get through, I think for Ollie, he needs to get through Southampton away, West Ham away, Leipzig, PSG and Man City. If he can get through those games, I think he's going to be, looking at the January transfer window in safety. But as we all, it's great to have football back, as we say, but as we always say, This is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets really interesting because we have got a relentless schedule like everybody else has. And I don't think it's going to take long for certain United fans, some of you watching this video, to remember what you felt like before that Everton game. When that story came out from the Manchester Evening News that United had spoken to Pochettino. And as I said last night, Manchester Evening News is still standing by that source and information. United have spoken to Pochettino, according to them. He's out of a job, ready for a job. Solskjaer is one bad result away from this all coming back again. All he can do is keep winning. He said it before after that Everton game. We're not going to give him the satisfaction of losing a game again. He's got to keep winning. And I think we can do. I think we definitely can do. And I want to say this. I think we can go on a very good run. Man City's always going to be hard, but why can't we beat West Ham? Why can't we beat Southampton? Why can't we beat West Brom and Sheffield United and Leeds? Why can't we win five out of our next 6 games? That would put us in a very, very good situation, and it's what we need to do. Why can't we do that? Where is the weakness in this team? Bruno Fernandes is, fantastically contributing player. Martial is going to start scoring goals. Rashford, he's looking a bit better as well. He can only get better as well. You got Cavani champing at the bit. Greenwood's not really got going yet. There's Paul Pogba who's looking better and wants his place back in the team. I'm sure Matic feels the same. Van der Beek wants to come in. McTominay and Fred have been playing well. Telles is coming in. I think we've got too many players not to be able to go on a good run. And it's going to be really telling because I think if we do get a bad result, it can only reflect badly on Solskjaer and the dressing room because I feel that we're going to go on a good run. But to go on a good run, he's got to get as many of his good players into the team ASAP for the big games. And I think he'll start with the team against Everton, against West Brom. I can't see us losing. I just don't want Solskjaer to get carried away with that, thinking that's his best 11. Because I'll tell you now, and I'll tell you for free, and you can dislike it or like it, it's up to you. Our best 11 is not a team with McTominay, Fred, Mata in it, and Matic, Pogba, Van der Beek on the bench. It's just not. There needs to be an evolution. And I'm all for competition for places. And there's a large part of me thinks that Everton team should start against West Brom. And I think it definitely will start against West Brom. But he's got to be looking long term. You can't pick that team against... I mean, look, that team is quite a defensive team. It is. I mean, let's go back to here. It's quite a defensive team. I mean, yeah, you've got Fred and McTominay here. And this is how we're going to line up against West Brom. But you think about it, the minute we play a Manchester City, this is what's going to happen. Or the minute we play away against Southampton, who are quite good, or West Ham, who might pose as a problem, we're going to go back to this again. This 6 here, just sitting deep, not particularly doing much. Bruno having to drop deep, Mata having to drop deep, and then you've got Rashford and Martial. Cavani go back to the bench. And yeah, against West Brom, we're going to play very attacking football, but that team is not going to play like that against Man City or away to West Ham or Southampton. So we're going to become a very deep team like we did against Everton. I mean, just one substitute straight away. You bring Paul Pogba here and you take off McTominay. Can't get him. Doesn't want to come off. You take McTominay off here and you pull Pogba in here. Even if it's a defensive lineup, he can ping a ball in there. Or in here, or in there, from that position. So I just think we need to evolve into a bit of a more attacking team. And look, I'm sure Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has spent the whole last 2 weeks looking at this. And it's a very big few weeks. It's very exciting. And I'll reiterate what I've said before. I'm not negative, and I'm not concerned. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the manager of Manchester United, and I'm happy for him to be our manager, because if he keeps winning, that's good all round. If he loses, he'll get sacked and Pochettino will come in. In relation to Pogba, he's on the bench at the moment and that's where he deserves to be. If he forces his way into the team, that means he's kicking out Fred or McTominay, who've done quite well, and he's doing better than them, which means we'll be better for it. So I'm relaxed. I have my needs, I have my wants. I want Donny van der Beek to start. I want that midfield 2 to have a little bit more creativity. So I'd like to see a fit and raring to go Pogba coming in. But I think they'll get their chances because there's so many games, and then it's down to Ollie to give them those chances. What he must do is not what he did before the international break, where Donny van der Beek's getting half an hour against Newcastle, playing really well, and then not playing the next game, or he gets an hour against Istanbul, plays really game, and doesn't get a minute and doesn't get a minute in the next game. He's got to be fair about giving these players the time they deserve. Score prediction for West Brom. I'm going to go Manchester United to win 3-0. I don't see West Brom scoring. in relation to West Brom. They're struggling. They'll be an energetic side. They'll be trying to be well organised, but we've got the quality. It might be a crap game and we'll win it 1-0, but I don't see them scoring. I don't see them scoring, causing as many problems. I think we'll win the game, and at the end of the day, that's the main thing, isn't it? Please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and if you want to get your Christmas jumpers and you're outside the UK, get your orders in by Friday. Links in the video description. Thanks everyone for watching. Speak to you all soon.